One of the most common requests that I have is I don't want to live in an HOA community. I don't want any deed restrictions. I don't want anybody telling me what to do with my property, but I do want the area to present nicely and I want to live in a community that looks well taken care of. If that is you, this is a video that you must see, and I will explain everything between HOAs and deed restrictions and where you may fall in that whole mix. Hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to Sold by Cheryl. I'm a local real estate agent here in the Central Florida area, and let's get to it. So let's take a step back and let's unpack this. Let's first talk about the HOA communities that most people are like, I don't want any part of. Those HOA communities have deed restrictions attached to that property, but there's a governing body, an HOA association, that will enforce those rules. So they collect dues every month or your payment. The rules tend to be a little stricter, so it may be you can't have any fences or you can't park an RV there. And usually with HOAs, they take care of the common grounds that are in that community. And if they have additional amenities like, the pools, the pickleball courts, those kind of things that we've discussed, that is all built into your HOA. So there are deed restrictions, and then there's an HOA, which is the governing body that makes sure that those rules get followed. So that's an HOA, but now we really need to talk about what a deed restricted community is and how they differ and how that may work best for you. So let's talk about a deed restricted community. A lot of times people will want brand new homes and they fall into these deed restricted communities, such as Marion Oaks or Citrus Springs. And the lots tend to be, bigger than in a lot of communities. And the deed restrictions are attached to the property, but they tend to be more lenient. So you probably can store your RV or boat on your property, but the restriction is that they want it parked on the side or in the back. Another thing is maybe fences. Instead of the whole yard being fenced, they may say you can go from the front of the garage and then fence in the backyard. The other thing is that there might be animal restrictions, such as if it's not an agricultural area, you may not have chickens or cattle or anything like that on your property. So those tend to be what the deed restrictions are. Here's the other thing. With a deed restricted community, there are those rules put in place. However, there's no governing body to kind of oversee it, like your homeowners association. So you may ask, okay, well then what's the point of having all these rules and regulations if there's no governing body? A lot of times there's a voluntary one that you can join, but typically it's unless there's a really big problem and they report you, then you'll see a problem. So if you start doing things that really aren't allowed, then somebody could report you, and then you could have a lien on your property, or they'll send you a notice, and you just want to take care of it right away. But typically in those deed restricted communities, it's the most things that I see are the fences, sheds. You can have a shed, but it might have to be 5 feet from the property line in one shed. And then the boat, the RV, or some people have motorcycles that they put, on those trailers to haul their motorcycles up and back. You can have that. That's not a problem. It's just they don't want them in the front yard. They want them on the side of the house or in the back. So it offers that kind of community feel. And this is where I'm seeing the most of the new builds are in these areas. And I'm going to tell you where to find those deed restrictions coming right up. So I'm going to use Citrus Springs as an example in this. You found the house that you love and you found the perfect lot that it works perfect for you, but you're curious, what is going to be the deed restriction there? I have on my website a link, and it'll go to Citrus County, and then you just look where it says unit, and a lot of times it'll be on the MLS sheets I send you, and it'll say, what part of Citrus Springs that's in. super easy. You click on that particular area, and there's all your deed restrictions. And then you can go through all of those. And this way you're going to know in advance what those restrictions are and if it works for you. They're really not going to change. It might vary in terms of maybe the older sections and the newer sections, and how big the lots are. So that might come into play. But for the most part, those areas are far more relaxed than your HOAs. So just remember, with an HOA community, you're going to have more restrictions, you're going to have a governing body, and you're going to pay those monthly association fees. A deed restricted property is going to be more relaxed. You do not have to pay monthly fees on that, but just know that they're there, and just know that you just need to follow those guidelines so that you don't have any problems down the road. I hope you found this helpful. And if you are looking for, a home in the Central Florida area, please reach out to me, and I cannot wait to help you find your slice of Florida paradise. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found the video helpful. If so, please hit subscribe and ring the bell for notifications of more videos created just for you.